Yes. Thank you, Ritesh. Yeah. So, hello everyone. Myself, Devam Tripathi. I am one of the volunteer working with IRMAN Talks, and here we are with our talk series with speaker as Premjeet sir and moderator as Upesh sir. We welcome you all. I hope the talk will be worth it for everyone, and we'll have something to grasp from this talk. Upesh sir, I think now I'll hand over to Upesh sir for the process he can take forward from it. Thank you.
Thank you, Devam. Uh, Good evening, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure and a matter of pride to welcome you all to this special session. I have the privilege today of moderating a conversation with a dear friend of mine, now a global uh, lead of media measurement, Premjeet Sodhi, also called as PAMI. Uh, Premjeet, the global lead measurement and analytics at WPP Media for the Coca-Cola company, is currently based in the US and has over 2 decades of experience in crafting and activating media strategies to drive growth of brands. He has an experience in managing media investments, media strategy, measurement, and analytics for clients across India, EU, and APAC region, with a career spanning the Interpublic Group (IPG) and WPP in India and in US. Some of the advertisers he has worked with includes the Coca-Cola Company, Amazon, Hindustan Unilever, Colgate Palmolive, L'Oreal, Reckitt, Maruti Suzuki, Perfetti, Vodafone, Idea, Paytm, Z, Sun Pharma, and many, many more. Over the past 2 decades, the advent of digital has radically transformed how consumers interact with media and has disrupted the media industry's ecosystem. Measurement has emerged as one of the critical factors in enabling success for advertising, and the evolving ecosystem has enabled has made it more complicated than ever. In his talk, Premjit will also not only trace his personal journey of navigating his career in media strategy and measurement, but will decode media measurement and share valuable insights for marketing professionals to drive success for their brands. So let's get started and keep your Q&A towards the end so that we can have an engaging one. Premjit, if you want to say something before we start. Premjit.
Thank you, Upesh. It's a pleasure to be here. Great to be talking to you again, and absolutely delighted to connect with all my friends and family from IRMA, those who I know or I do not know. Uh, I've been looking forward to this interaction, just to get to talk to so many of you. So thank you so much, and yeah, I wish I also had my IRMA t-shirt with me right now, like you are wearing, which is very lovely.
I
But
saved
in
it for the
spirit,
end.
yes. Yeah. So again, sorry for being late, but yeah, happy to go ahead. Hello, everybody.
Hello. So let's start from the IRMA days. Means I would like you to trace your journey from IRMA to becoming a global lead at WPP. What were those pivotal turning points, decision-making situations that you faced before reaching this place?
Yeah, I think as is would be the case for many, lucky are the few who reach where they are in a straight line. It has certainly not been a straight, simple journey for me. Though God has been great and things have happened and I'm here. Uh, it was very odd for me to be an engineering graduate and then land up in IRMA itself. That itself was a quite a thing. Not that other engineers were not there; there were, but yeah. When I reached IRMA campus for the interview, I remember uh, agriculture graduates were carrying huge handbooks, and there seemed to be no reason for engineering people to be at IRMA. But yeah, there we were. But yeah, post IRMA, it took me quite some while to discover what I wanted to do. Uh, so I dabbled in IT. Yeah, I dabbled in IT, which came naturally to me because of my engineering background. Then I moved into finance, which was the flavor of the day, so to say, in those years, with finance companies uh, mushrooming all over India. As for every major group had their own finance company. So I moved to finance. But I think gradually I realized that my key strength was uh, to say simply analytical skills, right? Looking at data and interpreting data and analyzing data was which came well to me, which is what I did in finance mostly, right? So in finance also I was doing risk analysis for companies at the core, while the operations were something else, but eventually it was about analyzing companies and their risk and then deciding which companies to invest in and so on and so forth. So I moved to market research, which was in the same domain. So I moved to market research. From market research, I kind of specialized into media research. And it is during my media research stint, again, based on the way I not only collected data in media research, but how we analyzed and found insights in media research, that I moved to a media agency, right? I was lucky to get to work with Lintas, Low at that point, as they called it. And I gradually grew into the role of media strategy and media strategy. Uh, from media strategy, I moved into measurement and analytics, which is a role which I currently play. So it's been a long journey. But yeah, it's at the core, it has been about data and analysis throughout, which is now what I'm specializing in. Yeah.
Interesting. From engineering to IRMA to IT to finance to market research to media strategy and measurement analytics. Anyway, so for me, I would like to also understand, were there surprises or challenges in your career trajectory? I'm sure there must be quite a few, especially when moving across industries, across regions from India, EU, US.
Yeah, it's been a exciting journey. When I moved across domains, it was always like I'm back to a starting point, in the sense from one domain to the other. When having worked in finance, then you go to market research, then you're suddenly starting at as a, what should I say, novice in that industry. So those kind of challenges certainly were there. Then moving into a media agency, again the same thing. Moving into different roles, again the same thing. But yeah, I would say the biggest challenge that I have, or rather the challenge that I've taken on, is the move to the US recently. It's just been little over 2 years, and I changed my domain. That is, I was in media strategy, which I moved to measurement and analytics. And as we talk, maybe I'll be able to give you the finer nuances of what is media strategy and what is measurement and analytics. So my role changed, the domain changed, the role changed. Role changed as in I was a CEO, or basically a team leader, whereas when I moved here, it became a IC role, as they call it, an individual contribution role. So it was a very different role. It was in India. It was, of course, an India role. When I moved to the US, it was a global role. So it was interacting with all kinds of people across all kinds of time zones. The work culture was different. Of course, the whole challenge of settling in a new country with their own culture and etc. So it's been a real challenge getting used to it and getting absorbed in that. So I think, and that challenge is still continuing. So लगे हुए हैं.
Okay, I mean, I mean, a lot of diversified situations might have been there. So I would still say that, still connecting you with IRMA back, what does the IRMAN spirit mean to you? And sides of industry, how do you still carry that spirit of from the institution?
I think, like they say, they can take you out of Irma, but they can't fuse. Somehow that is so true, while a very cliched thing to say, but that works so well. And that, I think, applies to all of us who have passed through that institute. And uh, I have found Irmans everywhere, right? In fact, funny story, uh, on one of these groups of Irma, when I moved to the US, I introduced myself and said hello, and I said I'm in New Jersey, and then somebody said, "Where in New Jersey?" And I said, "I'm in a place called Short Hills." They said, "Oh, where in Short Hills?" "I am in XYZ society." And he said, "Where in XYZ society?" To which I got a bit suspect ke ye hai kaun? What do you mean by where in the society? Ab ghar aoge kya? But yes, that was literally so. And that was Anang, who is a junior of ours, who was just a, a 2 minute walk away in the same society where I lived. He was there. So with Irmans everywhere, it's so wonderful, and the feeling of belonging which is there, which the institute has cultivated. Even though I've spent 4 years, but in IRMA 2 years, those years have created friendships for life, and that's the spirit, I think, which I will never miss or forget.
Do you have a favorite IRMA story?
Favorite IRMA story. I will come to it as we go forward. I think so. It will take me.
Okay. And uh, how have your IRMAn friendships sustained you and impacted you uh, during these years and your worldview over the years?
See, undoubtedly, when I say Irmans as such, they've been part of my life ever since I left Irma, right? They've uh, it's if it's either you or Prashant or Ravi or Sandy or sorry, John, Kamal. I can't even say all the names here, but individually or collectively, they've always been part of my life, and I don't think there's ever any decision that I might have taken where one of you may not have input into it, right? So it's they're a constant. Each of you is a constant kind of friend, philosopher, and guide. You always have my back. So it's absolutely undeniable connection which is there with so many of you, and such a deep connection that Irma has absolutely impacted my life in all ways. I don't know
So,
whether that makes sense to what I'm saying, but yeah.
people who have been in touch with you, does it definitely it makes. So coming back to now the thing that you have been doing and engaging with so far, this media measurement and brand success. Because for someone new to the concept, how would you define this media measurement? Why is it so vital for the brands today? I mean, ये समझाओ ये है क्या चीज?
Yeah, I don't know. Can we have 2 hours for the talk?
Well, no.
So I will go into it. So sorry, I'm not trying to say it is complicated or difficult, but yeah, it's a subject which quite a few people are not acquainted with, right? And I would request a lot of people on the brand side who are here on the call, my dear Irmans, not to hold me on that, because it is something which is so obscure and so minute in terms of the overall marketing thing. I don't think too many people focus on it too much, right? While we love advertising, uh, media is unknown, and within media, measurement and analytics is something that people don't get into. It's by chance that I've kind of come into this domain, and I absolutely enjoy the domain. It's great. So I will start at the very what should I say, basic, right? As I do with a lot of people in my family when they ask me what do you do, it's not an easy question to answer for for a typical Punjabi family when they ask me that. Uh, so in advertising, there's a creative side and the media side. Maybe this was the first question I might have answered for my family when they asked me what I do. So yeah, the creative side and the media side. The creative side, as I say, people like John who have been in it, is the fun side, exciting side, and the media side is the boring side. Yeah, as we say, it handles different kind of figures. It handles numbers. It handles the money that buys media, that the buys the advertising. Uh, Now, in the media agency world or the media side, the days of you know some people on this call will not even be able to appreciate what I'm saying, but the days of Mahabharata are over and Doordarshan are over, when you could put one spot on Mahabharat serial and 80% of the people who could watch TV would have watched your ad. Yeah, that was the power of media at that time. There was no fragmentation of media, so it was everything was very easy. Just getting onto TV for a brand meant success. Yeah. Now it is very, very different. It is so difficult to get consumers because of the very famous term, common term, which you might have all heard a lot, called media fragmentation. So it is extremely important, therefore, for brands to have what we call media strategy, right? You have $100 and you want to spend that $100 to reach your kind of target group or people and sell them your products and services. It's extremely difficult to decide where to spend those $100. Yeah. And that's where media strategy comes in, because it tells you how to spend the $100, right? Not only that, so when you have a strategy, if you want to know whether your strategy is delivering on what you want, that's where measurement comes in. And that's the domain I am in. So when any of you on the call here who are handling brands, if you are deciding to advertise for your brands, then media strategy is the and measurement and analytics are the domains that help you decide how much to spend, when to spend, where to spend, for whom to spend, and how to measure it, and how to continuously improve so that your return on investment for media is maximized. Yeah, I am I making sense? Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's basically the area of measurement that I am in. So it's uh, it is very, very important, and it's something that everybody in at least in the senior leadership in the brand side needs to know what it is, because without media, it's very difficult to grow brands. Yeah.
We've been listening out a lot about this digital, everything in this world is getting digital. So how has this measurement landscape of yours has changed with this digital revolution? I mean, has there been any impact there?
Yeah, certainly digital has undoubtedly changed the world in so many ways, right? And so is the case in media. So while a lot has changed, a lot has also remained the same. But yes, let's focus on the changes part of it. So before the so-called digital happened in media, right? Before it boomed into media, where we started having cell phones in our hands and media at our fingertips for 24/7, uh, media was already getting complicated, right? Not that digital is the one which came and added a complication. Yes, it did, but it was already getting complicated. For example, in a market like India, there were about 800 TV channels. So planning for India was anyway not easy. But to give you a kind of a view of how things moved, uh, so hundreds of years ago, advertising started with the science of what is called opportunity to see. The whole philosophy around advertising used to be that we, as media agency people, need to create an opportunity to see for the people, right? We need to create the opportunity for the people to see our brand, right? It's always been core to media planning forever. But it was based on opportunity to see. So it used to be what, like they say, spray and pray. Yeah. That you put an ad on the IPL and just pray that, right? Spray and pray, as they call it. There was a lot of science behind it, but spray and pray was the usual term that a lot of people use to define that kind of approach. Because, and why pray? Because there is no view of what will happen after that ad, right? So we must realize that uh, what advertising is a behavior change instrument, right? When somebody sees an ad, you influence their mind and you create an intent in them to go and take an action. So it's not an easy job, right? It's like hypnotizing somebody and telling them that you want this, go and buy this. And the act of showing the ad is what we generally would term under calling an output of media, right? So मैंने ad दिखा दी, मेरा काम हो गया, right? In the world of terminology of media, as they say, I have created GRPs. I have spent money. Money was used to deliver views, right? So I've generated views. That is the output of media agency. But ultimately, what is important is what the outcome the brand needs. Seeing that ad, which is the output, tells people to go and do something, and people do something. That something that they do is an outcome, right? So with digital, the output to outcome journey has become extremely complicated, right? A lot of people like to believe that it has become easier because digital में तो सब data होता है, everything is captured. Google watches everything, Google knows everything, so therefore everything is known. So there's a lot of data, but it's still a lot of things are unknown. So digital has certainly created a lot of complication in that area, and it has also kicked off a huge wave of innovation and new ways of working in media, not only in media, in most of the domains that we know of. So it's been a radical change from the simple OTS, or the opportunity to see measurement, to actually noting outcomes. Yeah. So I can talk a lot more about this, but let me hold on for any key questions that come to your mind.
Very insightful. I mean, are there some specific tools that you use to kind of measure these outcomes that you had mentioned? Are there some interesting scientific ways? If you could briefly touch them upon, maybe not go just deep, but if you could just briefly tell us ki how simple or complicated are there? You could just tell us ki kya hai, how do you really do it?
Yeah, I don't know if I am being able to explain this in this simple language to all the people here.
You can share us with some examples if that would make things
Yeah,
easy.
yeah, yeah. So, okay, let's take the example of IPL, which I said, right? It's it every brand manager's dream to be able to advertise on IPL. Yeah. And I'm taking the Indian context here, and similarly, it will be some other property at the Super Bowl in the US. But IPL, right? And I don't even know what is the cost of a 10-second ad in the IPL these days. It could easily be 50 lakhs or more as of now, right? In IPL. In an IPL final, it might be even more. Yeah. So that's the amount of money which is at stake. For a 10-second advertisement, you are paying 50 lakhs, right? Could be, take this uh, as a number that I'm just using for this talk. But when it's paying 10 lakh rupees, sorry, 50 lakh rupees for a 10-second exposure, which of course IPL is said what is called as an impact property in media circles. So the number of people who see that is huge. And the more number of people see it, the more is the value of the ad. So that's why it's 50 lakhs. But what is important to for brands to understand is what it does for your brand. Yeah. So uh, the last thing, or the only thing which I could leave behind in this talk for my friends here, is if you can understand this aspect of what do you want the ad to do for you. Yeah. Which is the outcomes. Very, very important part, which a lot of people, I have not said that they don't do, but don't realize that they are not doing. Right? Why do we do ad? We do ad to increase sales. Fantastic. Easy answer, right? But what does your brand need for the ad to do for you to get sales? That is the crucial question, right? So very simple is, if I'm a new brand, I need awareness. I need people to know about me. Yeah. And therefore, you can't say, I will do an ad and I'll get sales. No, you will do an ad, you will get awareness, and awareness about your brand will generate sales. So, this intermediate thing called awareness, which is what we call the intermediate objective, or let's call it objective in this case for the outcome, is something which is very important. So, we need to be clear in mapping out where our brand is on the consumer journey, right? The consumer's purchase journey. Is it that they want awareness? Is it that people are aware about you, but they say, I don't think you're a brand for me? So they don't consider you. right? You might be, so let me not go into the whole marketing science behind it. A lot of people here on the call are very much aware of it, but there are measures. So are you seeking to drive mind measures? That's awareness, consideration, preference, intention to buy, etc. Or are you trying to drive a certain imagery that you think I'm expensive, but I'm not, or you think I'm cheap, but I'm actually expensive. I'm a cool brand, right? I'm a youthful brand. So there are so many perceptions that are driving, and that is what advertising drives for you. It could be that, or it could be that everything is fine, but ultimately people don't walk into my store, or people don't click on my ad on my purchase the cart in my website, etc. So those are what we could call as behavioral measures, right? It is add to carts, inquiries, searches. So you are actually making people do that, and you can design a campaign to do that, right? Uh, or it could be you don't have loyalty, you want to drive loyalty, you want to drive advocacy, you want to drive talkability. I want people to talk about me. I tell something to Upesh, he needs to go to somebody else and tell it. So how should I structure my media's campaign and solution that it does that? So the in short, deciding what is the outcome you want and then laddering it down to say therefore what the ad needs to deliver impacts the nature of the media plan that you create. Yeah. Impacts the choice of media, impacts whether I will use TV or print or out of home or television, or and how will I use them, which format I will use in YouTube. All of that matters to that. Yeah. So outcomes are very important. Please be clear what is the outcome you want. And if I have to go a step further, I'll say please be clear how much of that outcome you want, because ultimately doing advertising is easy, but doing efficient advertising is the domain which I drive, which is that how do you optimize that, how much money, maximum returns can I get in the minimum money spent on media. Yeah.
God, quite a heavy thing, but I'm sure um, the fresh batches or maybe marketing professionals who are currently studying marketing and perhaps are eventually getting into in the marketing domain. Premjeet, what skills or mindsets should these fresh graduates or people who are already in the marketing domain should cultivate to thrive in this data driven media world?
Are we doing on time? Is it?
No,
I will accordingly. Yeah.
we do have about 50 minutes, and of those 15 minutes you had already consumed, but nevertheless, that's not a much of a problem. We can handle those.
Okay. So see, I don't know if I've been able to make that point yet or not, or to bring out the importance that these days with the way the marketing has evolved, the way brand choices are available to people, right? Thanks to digital and otherwise also thanks to how the economies have grown and people have surplus money and choices are there, etc. With so much happening, media measurement is extremely important. Why so is because there is so much competition. It takes a lot of money to get your message about your brand out there, and therefore measurement is extremely important. Not only measurement, when I come to analytics, being able to connect what media, what advertising is doing to your sales is not an easy job. It is a job for data scientists and lots of data scientists. There is a huge focus on data science is the stream of work. It's extremely critical. I could go into a lot of detail on that, but in very short, there are attributional approaches to measurement where, for people who in this room know, it's the last click attribution. For example, when you go to Facebook and you click on an ad and it leads to a purchase, then Facebook says, "Hey, I made a sale for you." Uh, it's called last click attribution, but reality it is never so, because you didn't out of the blue go to the Facebook and click that ad. You went to Facebook, you saw that ad, yes, but you clicked on it because you had heard about the brand somewhere, you had seen the ad on TV, you had done a search about the brand earlier. So a lot of things have gone into the mix for you to come and click the ad on Facebook. Yeah. So that is a extremely complex data science question to answer, which is what we do as part of my role here. So that's attribution. The second is being able to test what we call incrementality tests, right? I don't know how many of us paid attention in the statistics class in school and colleges, but incrementality testing falls under what we call random control trials or A/B tests to be done, which are extremely valuable these days. And so many agencies and companies are doing it day in and day out, where you basically say, okay, this is my control group, which is a set of people or markets or geographies that you set aside saying they will not see my advertising. This is the test group where I will show my advertising, and then I will compare the results between the two on the sales of my brand or on awareness or on some other mind measures or on whether how which one uh, generated more change in bias towards my brand. And it's a huge statistics problem, but yeah, it's being done almost like on mass production these days. And that tells you whether your advertising is working or not, and calibrated that how much is it working, how water does it deliver. So that's incrementality testing. And the third domain of measurement I would talk about is what we call observational methods, which is basically what we learned as regression in school, whether it is regression and so many other techniques are there uh, which can be used. But to the core, it is one of the techniques is regression, which gives you what we call market mix modeling, which actually statistically tells you what is delivering your sales and how much of sales is being delivered by what. So I can do market mix modeling and with great amount of confidence tell you that 12% of your sales of a product is coming because of the spends that you do on media, and of that 12%, actually X percentage is because of television, Y percentage because of YouTube. One can be that precise, and I can therefore also tell you, if you spend X amount on media in this particular manner, if you spend 20% on TV, 10% on print, 50% on YouTube, you will get so much incremental sales, right? So the point being that all of these measurement techniques which are there are something that I would urge. While I am not saying everybody needs to get into this domain, but needs to appreciate this domain, right? So please focus on that. Please understand that earlier we used to say advertising is important. Now I'm saying media is important. Within that, I'm saying measurement is important. Within that, it's important to understand how are things measured. Because unless you are able to, as an organizational leader, being able to enable that measurement, it is not going to be success for long, sustainable success. Yeah.
चलो ये तो मार्केटिंग वालों के लिए हो गया. So how can professionals from non-marketing backgrounds leverage media analytics to create impact in their own fields? Is there a way?
See, media is omnipresent. It's affecting the life of everybody, right? Earlier, as they say, media was a channel, right? Media was a channel that connected or carried the message of the brand to the people. Yeah. Now, media is not only a communication channel; it is actually a transaction channel, right? It's an entertainment channel. Everything happens on media, and it is all very interconnected. That's from a consumer point of view. So media is impacting everybody. But from an organizational point of view, it is so vital. For example, I can tell you every media agency agreement or the pricing is decided by the finance guy, right? Very often the agency, the client person who deals, who actually sanctions or pushes for a market mix modeling to be done is the finance guy, because that's because we are able to tell what is the return on investment. And ROI is, while such a misused term, but a very, very important term. What is a return on investment? If I spend 1 rupee on media, how much is it going to give me in terms of sales? Yes, there are cases where ROI can be less than one. That means I spend 1 rupee, but it actually delivers only zero point 0.6 rupees, uh, typically in terms of what we call the short term effect, because there's short term effect and a long term effect of advertising. but eventually it ends up delivering a lot more. But the ROI is very important, and it's the finance people who are asking the question about ROI. So very often ROI, the finance teams push for media measurement. So media is impacting their lives. For example, for a FMCG company, after raw materials and people, it's usually media which is the largest cost for them. Yeah, so media is important, and therefore it matters to everybody in the organization. If it's product design, uh, you would want to use media to test your product. For market research, you use media to do research. So I'm saying there are a lot of ancillary ways in which media impacts everybody, but for anybody to drive and sustain business in this world these days, media is extremely important. Even if it is B2B, all of that gets done through media. There are barely any direct calls that happen in person, where you can say media is not involved, but everything gets done through media these days. So extremely important to take an interest in that area, appreciate how things get done, what's the science behind it, so that you can get the right things done from your media agency. Yeah.
Perhaps you've answered my next question also, because here I was wanting to check out how cross-functional collaborations, um, say among the marketers, market analysts, product managers, how they all collaborate, helping drive media and your brand success.
Extremely important, Upesh. In our role, there are so many organizational departments that we kind of collaborate with to do this. Or for example, even from an industry perspective, right? Earlier, or let me not say earlier, but a creative agency creates the ad. Yeah. Uh, Now that ad creation is moving to a lot of AI being used, right? Uh, I won't say it is universal yet, but yes, there is a lot of AI which gets involved in building the ad. Yeah, of course, Microsofts and Facebook say that you don't need to do anything. You just tell us a problem and we'll create your ad automatically. It's a direction that things are taking. Yes, they do a lot of inputs, but uh, there is a creative agency that creates an ad. Let me not also talk of the components within a creative agency or around a creative agency, the production house, etc., the talent management company, and all that are required to do it. The media agency creates the media plan. Then there are content builder specialists, influencers who create content around the ad. If you want to get the ad on the right platforms, there is a lot of tech companies that come into play. There are data companies that are very important, which help you identify. In media these days, targeting is very important. Like I said earlier, it was be spray and pray. I just need to worry about where I want to place ad. Yeah, there are two basic ways of advertising, if I may. One is where you're buying media space. So you buy that front page of Times of India and you place your ad there, and then whoever picks up that copy sees your ad. So that's you're buying inventory. But what digital has enabled is that you don't buy inventory, you buy eyeballs, you buy impressions, you actually buy profiles. So you just say that I want X profile of people, 100 people to see this ad. So then digital hunts across their platform to find people of that profile and show them the ad, right? And that's a fundamental one of the changes that digital has brought in. While it has brought in a lot of complications and advantages along with it, but the key changes, instead of buying space, we are now buying people or eyeballs. So there's a huge amount of collaboration required, a lot of players required in advertising to happen. The creative agency, media agency, content builders, influencers, tech providers, data companies, the analytics companies that make sense of that data. There are TV channels, there are the media platforms, the retail partners which enable finally the sale to happen. There are research agencies who measure all of that. So the collaboration all across. And so unless we are able to know a little bit of each of these, uh, we will not be able to put all that together and create a good media solution.
True that. True that. चलो मुद्दे की बात. Any advice for alumni looking for to work across industries or pivot their careers around this?
It is an exciting career. Uh, it is depending upon the kind of industry you are in, media and advertising and measurement would have different degrees of importance. Yeah. While I say it is important everywhere, but yes, there are certain industries where it's absolutely more important or more evolved than other industries. So please look at that. It is uh, because it's important to know the pecking order. As in an organization, you don't want to be somewhere where people don't discuss advertising if you want to be central to the decision making. So important to be involved in that. Always also for people who are trying to get into it, always available. Please feel free to chat with me. I would be happy to advise as much as I can with the experience that I have had. But most importantly, if this is the domain that you want to get into, uh, it's not really about having the creative vibe in you to be able to be in advertising. It's about your comfort with data, your the comfort with numbers, the comfort with understanding technology, right? It's not simply it happens that you can create an ad for Cadbury. Not that I've done it, but our organization and teams close to me did it. You can create an ad for Cadbury where Shah Rukh Khan is actually telling you, saying something, greeting you, or talking about your retail store next door, right? So there's a lot of technology involved, artificial intelligence involved. But the joy of putting that advertising in front of everyday people and seeing the joy on people's faces and your friends and neighbors talking about the ad is something which is immeasurable. But so great field, very small part of the marketing mix, so to say. Typically, for example, for Coca-Cola India, don't quote me on these figures, but since Coca-Cola is such a huge brand, such a strong brand, media impacts 2 to 3% of their sales, right? For new brands, media could be impacting more than 50% of the sales, right? In some industries, typically 10 to 12% is considered a fair and a healthy impact of media on sales. So that gives you an idea of the importance, therefore, of that building, driving sales, building brand equity. So uh, good industry to be in, but servicing industry. So one needs to be clear whether you've got a servicing attitude, because uh, when you're on the brand side, there's a different attitude you need to have. When you're on the media side, when I say media side, the platform side, if you're in a TV channel or you're in Google or Facebook, you're on the media house side, there's a different attitude that's required. When you are in a media agency, you need a different attitude and skill set. So depending upon where you want to be as even as an advertising specialist, in the brand side, the platform side, the agency side, as a technology vendor side or data vendor side, there are so many domains available, so many options available. I'll be happy to talk to and help you steer through that.
Okay, we are nearing the end of this conversation. So there are some few questions from our side, and then we'll be open for a Q&A.
Yeah.
So I call this as a rapid media, closing rapid fire, if I may put it like that. One media trend everyone should watch out for. You're on mute. I think you have got yourself on mute.
Yeah, just give me 1 second, please. Yeah.
This was a rapid fire. You can't take time.
So sorry, Upesh. Some parenting issues I had to deal with. Yeah.
Is it over?
So,
Uh,
all well, all well.
Okay.
Uh, okay. Sorry, you said trend one should watch out for,
One
right?
media trend.
See, it might seem like a cliche, but I think AI is something that is a trend which is everywhere. Most of my answers on what to watch out for or what skill set to obtain or what to do next, AI is there. While AI is again a very misused term or a very loosely used term, but uh, if you are in media or advertising, and in fact any other domain, so therefore I'm not singling out media or advertising, the way it is taking over tasks and jobs and intelligent jobs is uh, is something which is frightening, right? Frightening in the sense that uh, w- is are our people prepared for it, right? it is something that I would say, please watch out for it. Please equip yourself with AI in whatever form. And I'm not talking generally of, oh, I am able to create this lovely image, or oh, I did this and I got this response. Of course, that is something that everybody is doing, that people are using chat GPT left, right, and center for everything. But how it impacts your business, how it impacts your uh, uh, your organization, right, and your role, and what can you do to come up to that. So I think watching out for AI is very, very important, whether it's a AI bubble or whatever people might say. AI is here to stay. There are organizations. If you look at the share market, you will talk of, oh my God, Nvidia is doing this, and Oracle is doing this. It is all a scam and all, but AI is here to stay, and it's going to change everything around us.
Interesting. Best advice you have ever received?
I'll never forget Professor Fansalkar for this. And I'm not saying Professor Fansalkar because this is a call about IRMA. Yes, there are a lot of good piece of advice I received, but uh, for those who don't know Professor Fansalkar, he's one of the most revered professors of the institute, at least from the times that I know. He's a gem of a person, but absolutely what you see is what you get kind of person. He would call a spade, and
So true.
I won't talk of it now. People like you and John and Prashant and some may or may not remember it, but we did some screw ups in IRMA, and some things happened. And I, being the class rep at that point of time, at least on paper, hi John. So uh, uh, we did some screw ups, and as a result of that, one thing that Fansalkar called me and told me in person in a very stern but a very fatherly way is that never break the lines of communication. Whatever you do, whatever happen, keep your lines of communication open. The day your lines of communication are closed, once the, like they say, the that bridge is gone, then things will can only go spiral downwards. So it applies to so many aspects of our personal life or our organizational life, or whether it is media advertising, or whether it is anywhere and everywhere, wherever there it's about relationships, it's about communication. Yeah, never break the lines of communication. So thanks to Professor Fansalkar for that.
No wonder you're in media. Okay. Um, One thing you wish you would have known when you had started out.
Yeah, see, I think it's not about specifically about what one thing I should have known, but I think it's important the learning which I have felt, right? Because I have always been behind the curve, if I may say, right? In the sense that maybe that's my nature, happy-go-lucky, never bothered too much about the future. There are different people with different ways they look at life. I have never bothered. I have kind of gone with the flow, as they say. But I think that I have missed out on certain waves. Yeah. Uh, I'm doing well, thanks to my good fortune, and thanks to friends and family who have helped, and thank God for that. But in the sense that I was crazy about IT, computers, and I got into IT, but then I said, enough of this, yeah. This is not a line role, nine function, right? I need to get out of it and do something else. And I got out of it. And then very soon we were hearing the noise of modems and internet picking up, and internet changed the world, right? And I just was not part of that wave. Yeah. So, and there's so many more instances more like that, right? For example, digital coming into media, right? I was a media strategist, right? And I thought that, yeah, I'm a media strategy person. I'm agnostic to the kind of media, whether it is TV, print or digital. मैनू की फर्क पैंदा है, राइट? मेरा क्या जाता है, मैं तो मीडिया स्ट्रैटेजी में हूँ. स्ट्रैटेजी वर्क्स फॉर ऑल मीडिया. But the way digital came in and the way digital took over, if you do not know the ins and out of digital media, you have missed the wave. So like that, there are a lot of these things. So my only thing is that for us to know is to know that yes, now the AI wave is coming. So don't miss that out.
Okay, this is a question since you mentioned John many times. So little Johnny wants to ask one more question. This will be measured out of us. scale of 10, we can also measure things, just not you. If you are teleported to Irma for a day, which part would you be and whom do you expect to bump into?
Which part of Irma I would be in? Certainly not the library. I think
Which
I would find myself. Hi, John. First of all, thanks so much. Your questions are uh, always nice and tricky, both I must say. So, but yes, I think I would find myself either at the CD junction, as we used to call it. I don't know whether it still exists, or at the steps or the lawn in front of the mess. That's where I think most of our life happened. Most of the critical things or the important things in life happened, at least the ones that are we are able to talk about to everybody. So that's the place I would want to be. And yes, I don't know who I would bump into. I don't know whether uh, if I am traveling back in time, I hope a lot of uh, my friends are also from Irma. They are also there, and yeah, I would love to bump into Ravi, who was a common fixture on the lawns, spread out, having his chai along with the singing of Manoj or your drums, or sitting quietly with Upesh. Chat. I don't know who really, but I would love to meet anybody and everybody from Irma anytime.
Okay, so I leave the stage for Q&A. Anybody has who wishes to ask any question, please feel free.
Thank you so much, Upesh sir, Premjeet sir. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
you are.
I think there is one more question of John sir here. And
You can read through because I cannot.
okay, I think it's in a public chat.
Okay.
He did ask, would you recommend media industry to the new crop of Irmans and what would it offer?
Political question, John. Uh, so as I said, media is. So let's look at
the
it
point is,
from
for me, the point for me
yeah,
is that many of them, see, people like you and me have stumbled into these industries, right? I mean, instead of stumbling into it, would you encourage them saying, boss, look, do this? Because if you are good at this, do this. I mean, what is
yeah,
it that you would, yeah, that's the point.
yeah. I know. Uh, yes, I wish it was there, and I wish now. I'm absolutely not saying that Professor Vaswani did not do justice to marketing course. We learned a lot. Kotler, we understood that Kotler was God at that point of time. But I wish that we had more training in the area of advertising, media, etc., which of course the domain was different then. So sorry, John, what I'm saying is it's a wonderful field to be in, but it's complicated. It is very volatile. It is very dynamic. When economic pressures come to a company or when adversity comes, people not prudently, but cut advertising first. The whole industry is going through restructuring. It is moving into technology and AI, and so it's a very, very dynamic industry. So it's a great industry, very integral to businesses, to brand building, but it is going through a turmoil. So go to the industry, but be careful about being sure which domain within advertising or media you want to get into. If you look at from the commercial point of view, typically uh, a client pays about, roughly I'm saying, 1% of their advertising spends to a media agency. It spends gives far more to the creative agency, but so even if you look at the extraction, if I may call the word, as the total earnings of a media agency tends to be, let's say, 5% of the total media spends that a advertiser does, and how that 5% then trickles down to your role within the company and your function within the company. So if you love advertising, absolutely jump into it. If you love brand building, there are multiple ways to do it, whether it's a media agency or Facebook or a Hotstar or something else you want to join. So there are many avenues, but be ready for a ride because it's a very volatile situation for the industry. I hope that answers it, John.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you,
Any,
Premjeet sir, John sir. I think there is one
any,
more question of
yeah.
John sir. If you can, sir, अगर आप ही बोलना चाहो तो you can tell it.
Bolo,
Okay.
Johnny.
Defining technologies.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you spoke about it. You spoke
Yeah,
about
it's
A/B
okay.
testing and
Definitely.
AI and stuff like that. So I guess
Yeah.
you covered that, Prem. So
Yes.
not a
Yes.
problem. But if you were to give yourself an advice, I mean, see, one of the things that I see is what you defined as missing the curve, or happy-go-lucky, or ways of justifying some of our IRMAN attitude. It's very, if I might define it, right? We I think we are Manglu Harwawa has bloody grounded us to the grass, right at the
Yeah.
beginning. So, is there something that you would tell yourself, yeah, if I were to professionally change my attitude this way, right? I mean, if I were to, because we are at a peak now, right? I mean, more or less, we are peaking out, right? At this, but there are 20 years younger, people who may gain from a very sincere, honest advice. I mean, do you need to be more aggressive? Do you need to be, put your outsell there, market yourself more than the work? I mean, something which is very from
Yeah.
your heart when you look back and regretfully say, yeah, if I knew this 20 years ago. Yeah.
True, 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 John. And it's almost like a rhetoric question. Yeah. Uh, so I think what Manglu Harwaha, yes, maybe I could meet that character on the Irma lawns. For those who don't know Manglu Harwaha, you're missing out on a lot in life. So Manglu Harwaha, and the whole ecosystem of Irma, whether it is the Irma campus or the organizations and the culture we saw around, I think ingrained a so-called attitude of being good and doing good in us. Not that we are doing social service. I don't think that was the case, but still there's a certain goodness to whatever we want to do. And there's a lot of modesty in terms of the kind of people that come out of the institute, which is so lovely to see, because I have seen graduates from many other universities, and they think that they are God's gift to mankind. Whereas I think Irmans are a God's gift to mankind, but they don't think they are. So you're right. There's need to be a lot more belief in self, a lot more, or if I may say, John, it's more about us being able to market ourselves, right? We don't market ourselves. We are not aggressive enough. We always, at least during our times, the way the institute, we always used to think we are the second rung university, while I think we were the best in terms of university. While in global, or say in rankings, I do remember some magazine, Business World or something, rated us as the fifth best university, including IIMs at that
Yeah,
point
we
when
were
we were
above
there.
I am Lucknow, yeah, when we got into this institute.
Yeah, yeah, correct. So I'm saying it is a great institute. It's a awesome pedagogy, the great set of professors. It's a lovely atmosphere, and I think we come out with a lot of good values. But what we lack is that, I don't even know whether, we have been so hard coded. I don't know whether I want to say it, but and whether we should have it. But yes, we do not have that killer attitude. The way in organizations people work to their own betterment, I think Irmans on a general level do not do that. We just feel good about doing good, and that's what we do. But the corporates wars that need to be fought, we are not good at that. I don't know whether that answers your
No, no,
question.
absolutely, Prem. I mean, that's that's what I mean. We all feel it, and I think we need to say this to our younger generations, saying, "It was look, go put yourselves out there."
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Very true.
yeah. I'll leave the floor
Any
for others.
any question, Devam?
Yeah, I have one question, Premjeet
Yeah,
sir.
good.
Yes.
So though I have two questions. I think Johnson can also answer that. But one question is related to, I feel that as a consumer, because I'm not in a media industry, we have so many advertisements, brands around us. Uh, I don't know whether we are actually getting influenced by advertisements or not, because I'm seeing people are not able to take decisions nowadays because there are so many brands but little information about any one of them. Or even if we do have, it is getting replaced by some other information. So information retention is not happening as I remember. What pattern do you see in consumer behavior, sir? Are consumers able to take the decisions solely, or are they able to make a quality decisions based on the information given? What is happening with them? How do we
So
actually
let
create
me
change?
let me ask you one very quick thing. Which is a favorite color?
Which is my favorite?
Color,
My favorite color. Sir, I wear black a lot, so black.
right? Okay. So there are a lot of ways you could have answered this, and there are a lot of ways I could interpret this. But you're saying because you wear black a lot, your favorite color must be black. So you're take viewing your behavior, and basis that behavior, you are interpreting that what my likes are, right? Or possibly you like black. But if I were to probe further, you do not know why you like black, and it
Hmm.
doesn't matter why you like black, but you like black, right? So I'm saying the human mind is a complex thing. Marketing is comes under what is called a social science. Marketing is not an exact science, it's a science of people, right? And in that science, in that social science, what we are trying to do is to influence people's minds, right? And a lot of times it is actually better if the consumer does not know he is being influenced, right? You don't even know when you go to a aisle in a mall and you look at a certain brand, and that brand either appears familiar to you or appeals to your senses, or you feel like I want to have this brand. It is media and advertising working in the background. Actually, we don't realize how important media and advertising. It's right from you. You've seen that famous thing which is going around on internet where they show you a photograph of the Coca-Cola brand logo without the color, but
Hmm.
your brain reads it as that it is red and white in color because your brain knows that that brand is red and white in color. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that media is so pervasive, advertising is so influential. You have no idea. Why do you think that from childhood you want to own a BMW,
Hmm.
right? Uh, and you finally get it when you are 40 years of age, but you've been wanting a BMW since you are, right? So ad stock, a term which is very, very important in advertising, it creates ad stock in your mind, right? A lot of things you want are because advertising has told you to buy. Yeah. So I'm not saying advertising is God, but I'm saying it is more important than most of us think. It is more important in taking the consumer across the consumer journey. When we as media strategists really start the answering the question on what advertising we need to do, as I said, there's so much to do. We have to check out whether awareness is required or consideration is required or driving traffic to a website is required or driving to your comparison price comparison site is required according to what state of mind you are in about your purchase. Advertising pushes you to the next stage. Yeah. So I'm saying it's a you can see I am very passionate about it. I would be happy to help anybody if he wants to dig deeper into this for their brand or for their personal journey. But yeah, advertising is more important than we think it is. It influences us more than we think it is. It does.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
You had you had two questions there. Was the
Yeah,
other?
one was, I don't know. It's not very serious question. So I always like this creating ad, matlab, as not as a profession, but in general. But I do see that many of the content creator are creating ads. As AIB people I see. So can this be a past part-time work for an individual creator to create ad? I don't know, sir. I'm just asking because John sir is also here. If you can answer to it in short. For a fun, can people create ad and and sell it to companies? Can we do it? Is it possible?
Yeah. So see, I will tell you a very, very simple thing. An ad, what you see is the creative element of it, right? What a consumer sees is the creative side of the ad, creative element of the ad, which absolutely, if you have a creative streak in you and it excites you to do it, you can do it. But when you say an ad for a professional like me, what I see behind is identifying people who I want to show that ad to, deciding what job the ad needs to do, which are, like I said, there are 20 different things that ad can do for you, right? Uh, Deciding which channels or media that ad needs to go on to, right? So I'm saying creating a ad copy is easy, but knowing what ad copy to create, whether the message should be add to cart or message should be come dance with me, or the message should be, hey, I am a great brand, so that what the message should be where the message should be played, who should be shown the message, who is such an important thing, right? You can't just put an ad and hope that my right target sees this. If you want somebody to go watch the World Cup and pick up your brand at that in that context, then you need to know who are the lovers of World Cup and how will I reach the lovers of World Cup. So I'm saying there are so many other elements to it, but to keep it simple, if you want to create advertising, it's so much more easier these days. At our times, it was so difficult. Now you can press a button and use a Gemini and Claude and I don't know what all kind of AI stuff is there. You can create such lovely ads. You can create videos with all kind of spoofs in it, and so you must explore everything.
Yes, sir.
John,
So
Thank you
कुछ
yeah,
so
add करना है?
just to add to Prem, I think once you figure out who you're targeting, what you want to communicate, yes, it can be to answer your other question. Can it be a part-time job? Yes, 101% it can be. You know, do it for any of your friends. You know, some of their businesses. You know, understand what the business is targeting, what products are they selling, why are they selling, why, what is the value. You know, blah blah. Forget all of that. I mean, I'm saying get to the core of it. Create something nice, funny. Piyush has gone to, you know, Piyush is gone. There can always be a new Piyush, right? I mean, completely dehati, humorous, simple, creative, simple ideas, right?
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead. I hate it. I mean, and there are many people who have quit their, set jobs and joined advertising industry. I have met senior doctors. I've seen great business guys, in senior positions in Boots Pharmaceuticals and all. They just quit and jumped into this industry because it's so much fun. Try करो part time तो जरूर कर सकते हो. Give yourself 6 months, 1 year. Do it for a few friends,
Sure,
and then
sir.
if you love it, throw the towel and
Sure.
full time.
Thank you so much, John, sir. Thank you so much. Uh, from the audience, do we have any other question, please? We can take one last question. Uh, I think it's okay, sir. I think most of the questions have been answered. Uh,
Gaki wants to ask something. Gaki, go shoot.
okay,
That's
sorry,
good.
sorry. I missed it.
यार अगर ये रिकॉर्ड नहीं हो रहा ना तब मैं पूछूंगा.
हाँ कर
हाय
दिया
संजय,
रिकॉर्डिंग
मैं
बंद
कॉल
कर दिया.
करता हूँ अलग से.
तेरी तेरी कुड़वाई
चुप
हो गई
रहने का
है.
क्या लोगे?
तेरी कुड़वाई हो गई है. So the
He
meaning
has
is
to
whether
hear.
are you engaged, ready to get married? He looks so young. How do you maintain yourself health wise, यार?
Yeah, very
सब
pertinent
एआई का
question, sir.
कमाल है, सब फिल्टर है.
Suhail wants to ask something. Yeah,
Yes,
Suhail.
yes, yes.
Hey, hi, sir. Thanks for taking time out today and taking this talk. A quick one,
Yeah.
largely to do with the Indian FMCG context, right? So now, we guys are realizing, and I've been working with an FMCG firm for some time, in the same industry for the last 15 years, but on the sales side of it. Now that we've discovered that, earlier on when I started my career, then it was that, you have one big brand ambassador. That individual will drive your identity, and the consumer pull will be basis that, and the brand will be identified basis the brand ambassador, right? Now with so many influences coming around, uh, that entire piece of putting in X crore rupees behind an ambassador versus say an X plus Y behind media and micro influencers, that's something that people have started to talk about. Do you see a similar trend, and do you think that's going to work in the longer term?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, thanks.
Uh, so see, influencers have always been part of our lives, right?
Yeah,
Whether it was the more casual word of mouth, where our neighborhood friends and family influencing us,
yeah,
versus how it's evolved into celebrity influencers coming into the domain. And as media is getting all of us more and more networked, I
yeah,
think the role of influencers is only increasing, right?
yeah,
The belief or the believability of formal advertising has been on the downside for a long time. It continues to be so. You certainly don't believe that Shah Rukh Khan or or Kareena Kapoor actually wear that chappal in life, right? So the believability of ads is under question, and that's where influencers come into the mix.
Yeah.
And influencers also become important because they just don't say, "Hi, I'm a brand, then buy me," but they talk to you, they talk to you in your language, in your context. And for example, if it's the beauty category, then people are engaged in the beauty category every day, 24/7, right? So those conversations. So net, yes, influencers are here to stay. It's going to be there, but whether it's going to be worth putting the money behind one large brand ambassador, that I think every brand will have their own approach. But yes, more and more we are saying that that is not so.
Yeah.
People are diversifying their portfolio. They are picking different ambassadors for different purposes. Celebrities and ambassadors are going to be important,
Yeah.
but it's certainly not about one ambassador that carries your brand forever. It's unlikely that uh, people will still do it, but I'm saying the trend is waning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, sir. One quick one. I tried to send across a LinkedIn request probably for the next half an hour for this closed group. We don't have access to your email ID. You can open the settings so that we can send across a request on LinkedIn. So and you may like to accept it.
For sure, I will do that. Thank you
Thanks.
so much. We
Thanks.
enjoy to connect with more Irmans, as
Thanks.
more the better.
Thanks.
So should we conclude?
Yeah, thank you, Suhail sir. Yeah, I think, Pressure, we can
Hello,
conclude.
great. Thank you, Pami, for sharing not just your industry expertise, but also your IRMA memories, blending wisdom with nostalgia, and what makes this conversation truly special. It's clear that whether we are in Anand or New Jersey, the impact of IRMA spirits continues to shape the leaders who drive the real impact. I'm sure everyone here across the batches and careers have taken away fresh insights and a few laughs to carry forward. As we sign off, let us remember that our journey was best measured not just by charts and analytics, but also in the connections and the stories that we share. Thank you, Premjeet, and all the participants for keeping the IRMA flame alive. Stay curious, stay connected, keep inspiring one another. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Upesh.
Thank you.
Very nicely
Thank
conducted,
you so
Upesh.
much.
Thank you.
Bye,
आ
Gaki.
गया काम में?
Thanks,
Love
everybody.
you guys. Bye UP. एक
Chalo.
परसों अभी
Bye.
ज्वाइन
Take
किया
care.
भाई इतना लेट?
Bye.